Welcome to Inside the Lines, presented by the FanDuel Sportsbook. He's Jared Smith. I'm Ariel Epstein. The New York Knicks are on the road tonight as 1-point favorites, actually, up against the Detroit Pistons. The total at 213. Jared, this line has kept moving between the Knicks being favored by 1, the Pistons favored by 1, and now the Knicks favored by 1 again. How much should we read into this line movement?
Yeah, it's basically like a tennis match. I think it could be a little bit misleading. You know, the difference between -1, +1, it's basically 1 or 2 big bets could push that line in one direction or the other. So I wouldn't look too much into the line movement if you are betting this game. But it is interesting to note the Knicks, of course, a little bit shorthanded. They're not going to have Marcus Morris tonight. We don't know if Mo Harkless is going to play. So we'll see what the rotations are for the Knicks. Pistons as well. No Andre Drummond, their first home game without their big man. So, post-trade deadline, this is when the new rotations start to settle in and we start to get a little more information about where these teams are going forward.
The Knicks trade Marcus Morris on Thursday from the Knicks over now to the Los Angeles Clippers, which means that the Knicks have to rely a little bit more on R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle. However, you mentioned Mo Harkless. How does Harkless fit into this Knicks team?
Yeah, it was kind of an offense for defense move for the Knicks. Obviously, we know Marcus Morris has had, the best scoring season of his entire career. Mo Harkless not known for that scoring. He's more of a defender. Of course, he's a New York City guy as well, so it's fun to see him come home. But also in the rotations, it'll be kind of interesting to see if Harkless can settle in and give the Knicks a little bit more of a punch on that defensive end, and it'll start maybe in Detroit tonight. We'll see.
We'll be previewing more games right here on Inside the Lines coming up next.
They say less is more, but we believe more is more. That's why we built FanDuel Sportsbook with more ways to bet, more ways to fund your account, more ways to cash in, and more ways to cash out, with payouts delivered straight to your bank account in as little as 48 hours. You want more? You got it. Join today and get a risk-free bet worth up to $500. FanDuel Sportsbook, more ways to win.
Welcome back to Inside the Lines, presented by the FanDuel Sportsbook. Alongside Jared Smith, I'm Ariel Epstein. The Brooklyn Nets are on the road tonight against the Toronto Raptors as 6.5-point dogs. The Brooklyn Nets are with the total at 219.5. This spread has dropped. It started at 8.5 in the Raptors' favor, now down to 6.5. Why the line movement?
Yeah, Kyle Lowry. If you watched that game against the Pacers last night, he played really well, but in the third quarter, he had to leave with a shoulder injury. They're calling it a whiplash injury, kind of here in this spot. Not a good thing for Lowry. He's going to miss the game tonight. That's why you have the line movement. Toronto's offense is certainly deep enough. Their rotation is deep enough to overcome this in the short term, and Brooklyn has been playing really poor basketball, not only in Toronto, but also as a road underdog. They're 0-8 on the road as a dog. Not a great spot for Brooklyn tonight. I don't really trust the line movement here. I'm still going to take the Raptors. So if that line keeps creeping down, I think it actually favors the bet.
Yeah, I like the Raptors as well, just because Brooklyn's out for their last 9 games in Toronto. Kyrie Irving didn't even make the trip.
Which is interesting in itself.
Very interesting. Yeah. The last game we're going to preview tonight is the New Orleans Pelicans are at the Indiana Pacers. Pacers 4.5-point favorites at home, total 225. Where are you going with this game?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird game. The Pacers are at home, but the Pelicans are the more rested team. We mentioned that Raptors-Pacers game last night. Victor Oladipo will not play. He looked good on a minutes restriction last night, but he's still getting over that injury and not cleared for back-to-back play yet. So no Oladipo. We also don't know if Zion Williamson or Brandon Ingram will play. However,
both questionable.
Exactly. Yep. Lonzo Ball's been really good, though, for the Pelicans. I like the Pels in this spot. Kind of a weird contrarian spot where the line's moving towards Indiana, but I will take New Orleans. Give me those points with the Pels.
It's going to be interesting to see who plays and who doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm on the side of the Pelicans as well. Tallahassee time.
Yeah.
Jared, you go first.
All right, here we go. How about Paul George? We know Marcus Morris is going to be with the Clippers. We don't know how that's going to affect their rotation, but Paul George, 2 straight games with a double-double. And how about this line? Give me the George double-double and the Clippers win against the Timberwolves tonight with D'Angelo Russell making his debut. Fun game there. Plus 560. That's a big sprinkle for my guy, Paul George. 2 straight games with a double-double. Why can't he make it 3?
It's interesting. I'm interested to see how Marcus Morris affects this Clippers
100%.
team. My turn. Dollar time for me. I am going to go with Pascal Siakam. He's going to have a double-double tonight, and the Toronto Raptors are going to get the win. They're going to extend that franchise record to 14 straight wins. That's at plus 320. Give it to me. Let's hit another dollar holla. For Jared Smith, I'm Ariel Epstein. Thanks for joining us here on Inside the Lines.